Of all the HP products that I've used recently, whether it be a laptop or a peripheral, this is now by far my favorite. Good afternoon and welcome to Turbo Tortoise Tech. If you're new here, I'm Reese of the 4-piece variety, a Wookie Triple XL, and this is, genuinely one of the best, if not the only 10 out of 10 product that I've seen for HP where I have literally zero notes. This, in its niche, is practically undefeatable. It's the best product made for this use that I've ever seen to date, and can we just give HP a round of applause just to start with that for making this product? Because when I got it, I just thought, it's another overkill office mouse, and I sort of put it to the side, and I got to it last. I went through the things that traditionally would interest me, like a wireless mechanical keyboard, like their Omen Spacer. That was really, really nice and a good time and a really cool product and stuff. But having ignored this now, I kind of regret it. And you may have seen on the stories and stuff me post about it, because oh my word, they've just done something actually brilliant for this. So before I get to it myself, let's go through the package contents. So you get the mouse in the box, you get a 2.4 gigahertz dongle, and then you get a really nicely finished rubberized cable. I really like this use of this light gray. It reminds me of early PS1 era. And the mouse itself with those sort of finishes in the silver also reminds me of Mac. So it's like PS1 era crossover with Mac, and I'm very much for it. I really like the look and feel of the product, and the color choice is definitely a top choice for this sort of setup. So there's nothing inherently there that looks anything special. It's because all of the magic is happening with this thing right here. So let's go from top to bottom. So on the bottom, you'll see the sensor hole, you'll see a power button, and then you'll see a little finger press button over there. And pushing on that button, you will find a little compartment underneath. And inside of that compartment is your 2.4 gigahertz dongle. And it's magnetically attached in there. So if I drop it in, you can hear it then magnetically attaches, and it won't come out of the mouse. So even if you lose this piece, the bottom of the mouse is still not going to come out, and it can still track and glide absolutely perfectly because they've done a ring here with the feet of the mouse. So even if you do lose this cover, it's still going to work absolutely perfectly. It's kind of like they've thought ahead, and they realize that people will lose stuff like that. But with the cover on, doesn't it make it just look that much nicer? At the front, you'll see the Type-C input for the Type-C cable for your charging. On top, you'll see a scroll with the button behind it being to make it into a free scroll, because it has a normal scroll setup and a free scroll as well. Tilt left and right on it as well, as you can see by the buttons over there. Left hand side, you've got 3 thumb buttons plus a switch button at the back, which is going to switch between 2.4 gigahertz and 2 other Bluetooth sources. Right hand side of the mouse, you're going to see a very exaggerated hum. I did get a pretty good shot of it because ergo is extreme over here, and the ergo fit and shape is really, really good. I think it might be a bit of a stretch for smaller hands. This feels really almost perfect for me on an ergo setup with a 19 centimeter from tip to the bottom of my hand. So yeah, it's not going to be, I think if you got if you're a small person, like say 160 centimeter or less, you're probably going to have quite a small hand. And then it might be a little bit of a stretch for you to get over the top of that hump. But for anybody that's, not in the Hobbit category, then you should be able to, use this just fine. And I will take no notes of discrimination because my mom's 5 foot on the dot, so I get to do Hobbit call out. So this looks like even a pretty good gaming mouse just based on the operation. But instead of spending a huge amount of time on the sensor and making it light and giving it crazy good battery life within that vein, what they did instead was just try to make it as feature rich as humanly possible. And to that end, they've set up a couple of things. One of those being that you can connect this to 3 different devices simultaneously and then manage the connections with those devices. So if you want to disconnect from a device, you can actually do it in your HP Creator software, which is pretty sick. It also has profiling per application, and it supports the major applications like AutoCAD, Adobe, Microsoft Office, just to name 3 of the 6 I think that they had on the list over there. The result of that is profiling for different applications at the click of a button. And that's why this is called the creator mouse, is because it's been set up so that if you have multiple PCs with multiple different software packages, let's say you're doing CAD on one and Adobe on the other, at the flick of a switch, you can change over to that machine and take your profile with you. So that the profiles and the shortcuts and stuff you would want programmed onto one of the 7 programmable buttons on the mouse are there for whichever profile and whichever machine you're connecting to. Combine that with 12 weeks worth of battery life. When the mouse arrived, it was on 60%. It's still on 60%. I couldn't even do it like a discharge test because the battery just doesn't go down. It goes into standby mode pretty quickly, which I think helps with that. It also doesn't have superfluous LEDs and stuff all over the place. This is a working tool. That's exactly what it's been set up to do. And because you can just change that profile and then for the application, and then at a flick of a button connect it to a different machine where it would then have that profile set up and stored on it, how seamless will that be in your work environment? Let's say you're busy with an Adobe presentation and you need to go present it on another laptop. You could have the Bluetooth stuff already set up on that laptop, and everything that you've profiled on there will just be there for you at the click of a button. So it's seamless multi-PC setup is basically what they're trying to do over here. So even I know some people are going to have like a laptop and they're going to have their creator PC, maybe doing rendering. And while that's sitting for rendering for 2-3 hours, you would then have to have another mouse or whatever on the other side. With this, you eliminate that, don't you? It's just very, very clever. I absolutely love the way the product has been set up. The build quality is exceptional. This little trap door and the way that this all functions, and even the design element to get the feet all the way around the edge like that, is really nice. The only limitation I see here a little bit is the sensor, because the DPI runs out at 3000. So if you are using this in a lot of 4K or even 8K resolutions, maybe that might not be enough for you. But it does have a slider there, so you can adjust between 800 and 3000 at your whim. Tracking and stuff, it's normal, perfectly fine. It tracks on glass as well, which is kind of nice. So they've really set it up to be as dynamic within the working environment as humanly possible, and set it up so that you can literally charge it, once every 3 months. It's a kind of idea for this. Kind of sick, mental, very clever. I love the way that it's positioned, and this is the first time since like Logitech GX700S, if memory serves, that a mouse has been set up in this similar vein, but nothing that can connect to multiple PCs and stuff the way that this does. So as far as I'm aware, this is the first mouse of this kind of niche setup, and it's absolutely fantastic. So in closing then, HP, 10 out of 10 from me. Very, very good mouse. To you, the viewer, if you have enjoyed this review, please will you hit us up with a like and subscribe, and I will see you on the flip side.